Did you know that candy canes were once handed out at church services to keep kids quiet? So next time you're munching on one, just remember, you're eating a piece of holiday history. Let's dive into how these sweet sticks of joy are made. It's more science than Santa magic, but we'll still keep it fun. Let's peek into those giant factory vats where the candy cane magic begins. It's all about the sugar syrup stage, where getting the temperature just right is crucial. This is a high-stakes kitchen where every degree counts. Watch as workers pour in sugar and corn syrup, creating what looks like the world's biggest batch of simple syrup. The sugar-to-corn syrup ratio is super important to nail down. Those thermometers sticking out of the vats, they're keeping a close eye on the temperature. This syrup gets way hotter than boiling water, so it's definitely not your average kitchen experiment. As the mixture heats up, the most amazing smell fills the factory. It's like Christmas morning came early. The air is thick with the sweet scent of melting sugar. You can almost taste the holiday spirit. Check out those vats. They're industrial-sized monsters, capable of holding hundreds of gallons of syrup. Made of shiny stainless steel with big paddles inside, they keep the mixture moving. It's like a giant's kitchen, but with great size comes great responsibility. The workers here wear special protective gear, long sleeves, gloves, and sometimes even face shields. Safety first when you're dealing with liquid candy that hot. As the syrup bubbles away, the workers keep a close eye on it. They're checking the temperature, color, and consistency. It needs to be just right, clear and smooth, with no lumps or dark spots. Did you know that the weather can affect candy making? It's true. That's why candy cane factories control the temperature and humidity in the room. It's like a climate-controlled bubble for sweets. Look around the room while we wait. You'll see big bags of sugar stacked up and drums of corn syrup, all carefully measured and ready to go. The air in here is warm and sticky. If you wear glasses, they might fog up a bit. And don't be surprised if your hair starts to frizz. It's all part of the candy cane factory experience. Finally, after about an hour, the syrup reaches the perfect temperature. The workers spring into action, moving with practiced efficiency. They've done this 1,000 times before, but they still treat each batch with care. As they pour the syrup out of the vat, it looks like liquid glass. It's hard to believe this clear goop will soon become those red and white striped treats we all know and love. The perfect sugar syrup is ready for the next step in the candy cane journey. Remember that clear syrup we just saw? Well, it's about to go through a transformation that'll make you think you're watching a magician at work. We're entering the pulling and stretching stage, and it's way more exciting than it sounds. Our syrup's still as clear as glass, but we're about to change that. The secret's in the air, literally. We're going to see some serious candy gymnastics that'll make your biceps ache just watching. Look at those massive hooks hanging from the ceiling. The workers grab huge globs of syrup and start stretching them over these hooks. It's like they're performing a well-choreographed ballet with giant sticky rubber bands. As they pull and fold the candy, tiny air bubbles get trapped inside, giving the candy its white color. It's like watching a clear balloon slowly turn opaque as you blow it up. This pulling process can take up to an hour. These candy makers must have forearms like Popeye by the end of their shift. But it's a delicate balance. Pull too little and the candy looks dull. Pull too much and it gets too soft. Everything has to be just right. Watch closely as the candy changes with each pull. It's getting shinier and lighter right before our eyes. All this pulling and folding isn't just for show. It's changing the candy's texture, giving candy canes that satisfying snap when you break them. It's like building a house. The structure is everything. In the old days, all this pulling was done by hand. Can you imagine that workout? But don't worry, modern factories have got it covered. They use special pulling machines that mimic the traditional method. These mechanical marvels perform rhythmic motions that aerate the candy while keeping everything consistent. Even with these fancy machines, timing is crucial. The factories keep a close eye on how long the candy's being pulled. It's a delicate dance between man and machine to get that perfect candy cane texture. And don't forget about those iconic red stripes. While all this pulling is going on, a portion of the candy gets mixed with red food coloring until it's as vibrant as Rudolph's nose. They knead the color in until it's perfectly even. No candy cane wants patchy stripes after all. As we watch this process, it's hard not to be impressed. Making candy canes is like a workout, an art form, and a science experiment all rolled into one. The workers here are basically candy athletes, performing feats of sugary strength that would make most of us collapse in a sticky heap. Now that we've seen our candy transform from clear syrup to a creamy white masterpiece, it's time for the real magic to begin. Get ready to witness how this plain candy becomes the festive icon we all know and love. Let's check out the next step in our candy cane adventure. The workers are about to add those famous red stripes and that classic peppermint flavor. It's like a candy makeover, turning a blank canvas into a festive masterpiece. First, the candy makers separate a small portion of the white candy. This chunk is about to get a colorful transformation. They bring over a deep red food coloring and knead it into the candy. As they work, it starts to look like a giant piece of bubble gum. Pretty cool, right? At the same time, they're adding that signature peppermint flavor. A few carefully measured drops of peppermint oil go into the larger, undyed batch. This tiny amount is all it takes to give candy canes their classic taste. The workers mix it in thoroughly to make sure that minty freshness is spread evenly. Now comes the tricky part. The candy makers layer the red and white candy together into one big log. It's like they're making the world's biggest candy sandwich. Then they start to stretch this layered log into long, thin ropes. As they do this, something amazing happens. Those famous candy cane stripes begin to appear. The workers have to be super careful about how much tension they use and how fast they stretch the candy. If they're not careful, the stripes could end up all wonky and uneven. Nobody wants a candy cane that looks like it's having an identity crisis. Speaking of stripes, did you know that not all candy canes stick to the classic red and white? Some factories have gotten creative over the years. They're making candy canes in all sorts of colors and flavors now. Imagine biting into a bright blue strawberry-flavored cane, or a green apple one. And for the adventurous types, there are even pickle and bacon-flavored candy canes out there. I'm not sure Santa would approve, but hey, to each their own. At this point, we've got our stripes, but our candy still doesn't look like a cane. It's more like a long, festive noodle. So how do they get that classic curved shape we all know and love? Well, it turns out that timing is crucial here too. If they wait too long to shape the canes, the candy will be too hard and might break. But if they do it too soon, the canes could lose their shape and turn into candy puddles. Talk about a sugar-coated disaster. The workers have to move fast, grabbing sections of the striped candy rope and bending them into that iconic shepherd's crook shape. It's like a choreographed dance, with everyone moving in sync to shape cane after cane before the candy cools too much. Just when you thought we'd mastered candy cane making, here comes the ultimate challenge. It's time to turn those long stripy ropes into the perfect holiday hooks we all know and love. But don't be fooled. This part's trickier than it looks. Let's check out the shaping station. Workers take their positions, ready for some serious candy cane action. Timing is everything here. If the candy's too hot, it'll lose its shape faster than you can say melted snowman. Too cold and it'll crack when they try to bend it. Talk about a delicate balance. Look at those workers with their big scissors. They're about to perform candy cane surgery. With lightning-fast moves, they start cutting the long ropes into smaller, cane-sized pieces. It's like watching a well-choreographed dance, with everyone moving in perfect sync. Once the candy is cut, it's placed on special forming tables. This is where the magic happens, turning straight sticks into those iconic shepherd's crooks. In smaller factories, skilled workers do this step by hand. Can you imagine the pressure? One slip, and you've got a candy question mark instead of a cane. Now, check out that nifty machine over there. In bigger factories like this one, they use these specialized gadgets to shape the canes. It's like a high-tech candy bender, ensuring each hook is perfectly curved every single time. No more wonky candy canes ruining the look of your tree. The workers still need to be on their toes, constantly adjusting things to keep everything running smoothly. They're like candy cane conductors, fine-tuning the orchestra of machines to create the perfect performance. See how they're always checking the room temperature? That's because even a small change can affect how the candy behaves. And look at how they adjust the machine for different candy thicknesses. It's all about getting that perfect bend every single time. These machines are designed to churn out thousands of candy canes every hour. It's like a festive factory on hyperdrive. After shaping, the candy canes need to cool down. But you can't just toss them in the freezer. The cooling has to happen gradually to avoid introducing stress into the candy. Stressed candy? Yep, it's a thing. It can lead to cracks or weak spots, and nobody wants a candy cane that falls apart before you can eat it. Some factories even have special climate-controlled cooling rooms. It's like a spa retreat for candy canes, where they can chill out, literally, in the perfect conditions. These rooms help maintain the optimal temperature and humidity, ensuring each cane comes out just right. Guess how many candy canes a skilled worker can shape in a minute? It's way more than you'd think. With all this precision and care, it's no wonder our holiday treats come out looking so perfect. Who knew making candy canes was such a sweet science? Just when you thought our candy canes couldn't get any cooler, we're about to take things down a notch. Literally. The final stage of candy cane creation is all about chilling out, but don't be fooled. It's a delicate process that can make or break our festive treats. Let's see how these factories stick the landing. Our candy canes are hot and fresh off the shaping station, but they're not quite ready for prime time yet. We need to cool these babies down, and it's not as simple as tossing them in the freezer. Remember, we're dealing with sugar here, and it's got a mind of its own when it comes to temperature changes. Check out that special conveyor belt. It's like a magical winter wonderland ride for our candy canes. They're about to embark on a journey through a long tunnel, but this isn't just any old tunnel. It's a cooling chamber designed to bring the temperature down nice and slow. Imagine a gentle, frosty breeze caressing each cane as it glides along, gradually chilling to perfection. Our candy cane expert tells us, the slower the cooling process, the smoother and stronger the final product will be. It's all about maintaining the integrity of these sweet treats. Rush the cooling, and you might end up with cracked canes or misshapen sweets. Talk about a chilly challenge. As our candy canes emerge from their cool-down cruise, they're not out of the woods yet. Now it's time for quality control. Each cane gets a quick once-over to make sure it's up to snuff. We're talking about checking everything from thickness to length, curvature to stripe consistency. Only the best of the best make it to the next step. Some factories take their quality control to the next level with X-ray machines to spot tiny irregularities or impurities. It's like our candy canes are going through airport security, but instead of looking for contraband, they're ensuring pure peppermint perfection. Now that our candy canes have passed inspection, it's time for wrapping. Look at those machines go, zipping plastic covers onto each cane faster than you can say, Santa's sleigh. This step keeps the candy fresh and prevents it from sticking to hands, stockings, or each other. These wrapped wonders still need to be sorted and packed. Some will end up in boxes, others in bags, depending on where they're headed. Factories often produce different variations. You might see mini candy canes perfect for baking, or oversized versions that make great decorations. Finally, our candy canes are carefully packed into shipping crates, ready to travel to stores around the world. From here, they'll make their way to holiday displays, Christmas stockings, and hot cocoa mugs everywhere. Check out how far candy canes have come. From bubbling sugar to cool stripy treats, we've seen the magic happen. Now, candy factories are going green with energy-saving machines and eco-friendly packaging. Plus, they're mixing things up with fruity flavors and fancy options. Candy canes aren't just red and white anymore. Next time you're hanging a candy cane, think about its journey. From classic tradition to high-tech, eco-friendly treat, it's come a long way. Look for these cool details in your next candy cane. Who knew holiday sweets could be so innovative and earth-friendly? It's a whole new twist on a Christmas classic.